college game. This historical achievement was memorialized in the Bears fight song, "Bear Down, Chicago Bears." We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. If the song was catchier than most, that was because it was written by the man who had already penned Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo and "A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes" for Disney's movie Cinderella. I knew the words by heart because I was lucky enough to go to several Chicago Bears games in the late 1950s and 1960s, when the song was blared scratchily over the loudspeaker. Of all the memorable experiences of my childhood, nothing captured my imagination quite like Bears games at Wrigley Field. In those media-deprived days, before home games were even televised, attending a Bears game was a rare glimpse of a special kingdom full of pageantry and armed battle. As my father and I walked up North Sheffield Avenue, the air crackled with the pre-game chatter of Jack Brickhouse and his sidekick, newspaper columnist/colorman, Irv Kupcinet, pouring out of hundreds of Sony transistor radios, a new phenomenon. And now we were through the clicking turnstiles and mounting Wrigley's ramps until the scene was revealed in all its glory. The brilliant green turf, the meticulously limed lines, the fans in their seats already unscrewing their thermoses of coffee and nipping from their flasks to stay warm. The ivy on Wrigley's outfield walls turning brown, yellow, and orange or gone altogether, leaving a spindly network of vines stuck to the brick. Most exciting of all were the Bears players themselves, warming up, military in their navy blue jerseys and helmets, and immaculate white pants. Immense in their shoulder pads, practicing passes, pinwheeling place kicks, and high revolving punts, running phantom plays under the cold sun, and everything was in saturated color, not the faded hues of our first Zenith color television. I knew Luckman only from a few photos, old publicity shots in which he was poised to pass, right arm cocked while the left pointed downfield to an imaginary receiver, or of his big, square, handsome head stuffed into a flimsy leather football helmet. In the town that Carl Sandburg had labeled City of the Big Shoulders, no shoulder was bigger or more revered than Sid Luckman's right one. That Luckman now lived a mere 100 yards from my house and across the street from where I was developing into a sticky-fingered receiver in neighborhood touch football games didn't quite make sense to me. Powerful figures lived in our midst, but they were doctors, lawyers, and small titans of business whose achievements were obscure and uninteresting to a 10-year-old boy. Sid Luckman, however, was part of history, a treasured relic of an era before face masks, before the integration of American sports, before television came along to broadcast pro football's appeal. And that name! Was there a better one in all of sports, joining two of the most vital elements of athletic success at mid-century, luck and manliness? It was so perfect that he hadn't needed a nickname, unlike other early pillars of Bears history, such as Harold Red Grange, a.k.a. the Galloping Ghost, Bronislaw Bronco Nagurski, or George One-Play McAfee, or future pillars like the Kansas Comet, Gale Sayers. The only aspect of Luckman's arrival in my neighborhood that made any sense to me was that he was Jewish. Highland Park was a lush lakeside liberal suburb that had opened its doors to Jews years before, while neighboring towns like Kenilworth and Lake Forest discouraged upwardly mobile refugees from the crowded Jewish ghettos of Chicago. Even so, I was too young to fully appreciate the irony and pathos embodied by a Jewish quarterback who had led the meanest team in professional football during the very years the Nazis were murdering 2/3 of the Jews in Europe. Like boxer Barney Ross, and baseball greats Hyman Hank Greenberg before him and Sandy Koufax after, Sid Luckman symbolized the strength, endurance, and greatness of the Jewish people. I was even too